Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Happy New Year to
Happy
start.
New Year, everybody.
And welcome to the first episode of Paranormal Living of 2021. So we've got quite an exciting topics to talk about this evening.
Yeah.
I'm looking
And I
forward
just
to.
remembered that I've left what I was going to bring out there.
You want to go get it then?
Yeah, I'll get it now.
Well, we're so prepared today. We was prepared about 20 minutes before the show even started, which is good for us.
It is, yeah. We were sat here having a cup of tea and everything.
I know, we've done well. Okay. So, oh, yes. So we do have Simon Townley. Hello, brother. He is on this evening. Thank you for tuning in. And, of course, our resident medium, Denise Kershaw.
Good evening, Denise.
I
Hi.
hope you're feeling better.
Yeah. We've also got your mother-in-law's watching.
Oh.
We've got Betty, of course. Betty's always here. Curtis, my friend Curtis.
Hello, Curtis. So, Viv Thompson as well, and Carl Pierce.
And Carl Pierce.
So, welcome, everyone. So, yeah, I'm really excited tonight, like I say, and thank you for tuning in. This is going to also be the podcast for this week coming as well.
It is, yes.
So, this is the first time we're doing it, so it's got to be right.
Yeah, we want you to get involved with this one so we can read your comments out.
Yeah.
Because, like we said, this is going to be our podcast for 2021.
Yeah, definitely. Martin, how you doing, buddy? You okay? All right. So, sorry, I just meant to have that post up ready. My own fault.
That's what I'm getting now.
All right. Okay.
I was the phone man.
So, all right, go on then. So, the main topic of this evening is signs from spirit. And, that involves feathers, in your dreams, some things you may hear in the house. Something, and I said dreams, didn't I?
You did.
I did, yeah. But this is something I wanted to talk about, and especially to be the first episode of this year, I thought it'd be a really interesting comment. So we have had some comments on the page, so thank you everyone for your comments. But we do want your comments on the stream as well for us this evening, and what your signs are and what your experiences are.
That's a lot of comments in one sentence.
I do apologise. Cheers, everybody. Good help.
It's only water before anybody says anything. Cheers. I've got to be careful with mine.
Yeah, Liza.
Lost half a cup thanks to a dog. Took me ages to get these cups, and then she knocked them off.
Thank you, Denise. Denise shared the page for us. Carl, how you doing, buddy? So, do you want to start with a couple of comments? What we have?
Yeah. So, like we're saying, we're talking about signs. Betty, who's always a huge contributor to our lives, yes, and always comments on Facebook. She lost her youngest son in February, and she can always feel him around her. When she moved into this house that she lives in now 3 years ago, 2 white feathers were laying on the floor by the door, and her mum and her sister used to live there before, and they'd both passed away.
Oh, really?
And she still thinks it's them.
Yeah, that's amazing. See, feathers. I'll tell you the weirdest experience I had with a feather. I was doing a gig at one of the hotels in Blackpool. And we're in this concert room, and I'd just done Unchained Melody, which is one of my songs, obviously regular in my repertoire. And I'd come off to get changed, and then Marge come running out and said, "Jared, this was on the stage. It was a white feather on the stage in this hotel. Physically impossible for it to appear on this stage." Yeah. And it's like in the basement of this hotel where the state,
right,
performing. So yeah, that was one of my. And then so I put it in my pocket, to keep it. And I think it was like the day after when I got home, because I was living in Burnley at the time. I went to get the feather out and it disappeared.
You've not been in your pocket to get anything else out or anything?
As soon as I got changed, put everything back in the suitcase.
See, I've heard that. A lot of people have said that if you get a sign and it is feathers or something like that, they do disappear sometimes, which I think, because I've got one that I found quite recently. And Denise told me to look after it, so that's why it's pinned to my notice board. Yeah. I mean, it could still disappear, but I mean, it's a bit battered now because I took it to work and everything showed everybody to work. But when I first found it, it was perfectly formed. I'm trying to put it back in shape. Yeah. And I mean, it's white, but it's not pure white. It's a little bit dark at the top. But how it was I'd just gone to bed at night, no problem. Mm-hmm. I had a bit of I remember having a dream about my dad being in my dream. Can't remember anything else about the dream, just remember seeing my dad. Woke up the next morning, got out of bed, making the bed. I have white bedding as well, so it's quite lucky that I found it. And it was just laying like that, sort of like upside down, if you will, just at the bottom of my bed. So you know where, if you were going to go in your room and you just sit at the edge of your bed, that's where it was. You just sat there at the end of my bed. I have got no curtain, no windows that can open. My bedroom window's broken. I can't open it. And there's no way a bird could get in my living room, my bedroom. The dogs, nah.
No. You would have seen it in her mouth, sure.
Yeah. And I've seen Liza when she's had a feather in her mouth and it's ripped bits.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was perfectly formed. It was like that.
I think you said Denise had mentioned this to you, though.
Yes. When I had my reading, Denise said that your dad's going to show himself around Christmas time. Now, this was about a week before Christmas, maybe
Yeah, I
a
think
bit
it was when
longer.
you posted.
And she said he was going to show himself in feather form. So there you go. There's me dad.
That's
Thanks.
cool. No, that's awesome. That has for those watching this in yourselves, have you had any experiences with feathers appearing? You know, in sometimes some strange places, like you said, then in your bedroom, and there's no.
Sorry, I've just made a comment from Denise. Denise, I've not heard it said like that for a while. Denise said she can't believe the size of it. Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it? So yeah, neither could I. I mean, I've had feathers before, but they've been tiny little things.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I do remember that just after my dad passed away, which was 6 months ago now, and I think it was like a couple of days later, my sister got to a car and there was a white feather laying on the car. Yeah, I was like, no, yeah, and I do remember another time I was at the remembrance service, and obviously there was just not long, a couple of days after my granddad had passed the same, and this feather just come from nowhere. There's no birds around. And literally just noticing it's just there flying like that, and it landed on my arm. Yeah, and that was another one of them where I was like, wow. And obviously everyone's doing the minute silence at this point, and you're like, and my mum's looking at me, and I'm like, so I put it in my pocket, and it disappeared. It's weird, I know.
Speaking of your mum, we've had a couple of comments from your mother.
All right, okay.
From Sandra Warren, her dad, who we've talked about quite a lot on the podcast, Jared's granddad, kept having dreams about fireworks going off for about a month. The phone rang, and then when he answered it, there was nobody there. He always said that it was spirit would let him know when it was his time. He died on bonfire night, didn't he?
Yeah.
In 2012.
Because he did mention that in my reading about the fireworks going off, and he could see bonfire night and about a chain. I can't remember the whole thing. It's obviously on the podcast.
I was going to say, you played that on the podcast, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
I remember hearing that.
So if you haven't listened to that podcast, it was 11th of November that was released, so you can go back and there's a full podcast about my granddad, and there is some of the reading he gave. And but he was seeing that, and he did have, like, even the phone ringing. I remember being there, and he was asleep in the chair, and he just shot up and went, "Have you heard that?" and picked the phone up. I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Listen," and it's just a dead line as if someone's on the end of it. Yeah, it's very strange.
Another one from my mum. She always says that loved ones do come back in the dreams. She's had a very vivid one of your grandma. After she died, she sat on the sofa smiling at your mum, letting her know that that she was okay. It was so real that it made her jump awake.
Yeah, I remember saying that.
So yeah.
There was a recent experience for me, actually. It was last night. Was it last night, wasn't it? When I told you this morning, didn't I, about the dream I had?
Yes.
Yeah, so last night. So again, as I mentioned, it was 6 months that my dad had passed away, and I saw him, and this is the first time I've seen him in my dream. Because of obviously the circumstances and how he was before he died, obviously I know there's a lot of healing, and obviously you know there's a lot to happen when he gets over there. And last night was the first time I'd seen him in my dream, and I was with my brother, and we're coming from somewhere. I think we'd been to the shop, and he was stood at the top of my street, and he was waving at me like, "Hey, Jared, come down here." So I drove down the street to turn around, and he was stood outside my house, and he was like jumping around, and like the energy whooshing. It was amazing. But he didn't say anything. It was just him showing. But he looked really healthy and happy, and it looked like he got to the point where it's now like the healing's starting now, and he's making himself more aware that he's around. Yeah,
good. Got a couple of comments on here. I know you meant the feather, Denise. Linda Howarth, my little sister, she wishes Dad would do something to show that he's with her. Linda, he's always with you, darling. Probably don't think you're ready to accept it. I mean, when I have my reading, I'll play it to you next time when I get to see you. Because even when he was coming through Denise, he was saying he couldn't believe he could do it. And how's he talking to this woman? And she's telling me what he's saying. He couldn't get it. So yeah. He's gonna come to her at some point.
So things like you say, it's when you're ready, innit? And when they're ready.
And he probably is leaving you little signs, Linda, but you just don't know what they are. And
sometimes it's the little things, innit?
Yeah,
definitely. Denise, can't believe. I know, it's absolutely crazy. It's scary. What's it? 9 years in November. It's like unbelievable where time flies.
Yeah.
But again, he's always around. It's the same thing. He's always in my dreams. There's always something happening. So I know he's around.
Hi, Danny. Danny said hello to us both.
Hello, Danny.
Right, Betty, talking of a son, I think this is a son that died, Carl. Doors close. I get a tap on the shoulder on the stairs. No one to be seen. My sister drank whiskey, and some nights My house stinks. It smells of whiskey. Stinks. Sorry, Betty, you didn't say that. A house smells of whiskey, and she's not scared, and she know they won't harm her.
Yeah, well.
So
See, smells are another thing.
yeah,
Like especially when you smell like your grandma's perfume or something like that. When it's so vivid in it, it just sets your memory straight back. With smells, actually, I don't think I spoke about this on the podcast. I think I've told you. When I was in Cyprus, was it a couple of years ago? I was in the, I was away from everyone else. I was in my own apartment, like end of the street kind of thing. And I was just sat there. I thought, I'll do a meditation. And then I could smell my granddad's tobacco. And he used to smoke this cherry tobacco, this specific brand, I think like American tobacco or something. And there was no one in the apartment below, so I'm only one in this little block. And then the smell went, and then I thought, that was weird. But it was so strong, as if you were sat in front of the living room. And then when I meditated again, the smell come back, and it was again, it's quite. But yeah,
it's weird, isn't it?
Hi,
Teresa.
Good evening, Teresa. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're okay. Hope you've had a good Christmas and New Year and everything.
Yeah.
Another comment.
Another one from your mum. Your mum's been very vocal tonight. Peter, her husband, had a cardiac arrest in 2018. It stopped his breathing. When she asked him what he remembered, he said he was on a bus. He knew he wasn't well, but a man got on and told him he had to get off. So he did. It took 5 shots to bring him back, and luckily I asked him straight away, because the day after, he had no recollection of the story. I think he was sent back because it wasn't his time.
Yeah, so
he was on the bus on the way there. See, I've heard that before, that you're on some kind of vehicle going, or you're in a queue.
Yeah, you're ready to take transit. It is crazy. Because in those situations, I remember wanting to ask Mum, but I thought, is it a bit soon? Because you don't know whether to ask. But yeah, when she told me, I'm like, that is amazing.
Yeah.
And for him to come out with so vividly at that point, and
then like she said, I mean, I remember, he couldn't remember a lot, could he?
Yeah.
He went and everything. So Betty also says her mother, sorry, I just got a comment on my page. Her mother always said her mum came to her at night before the night before her dad died.
Wow.
So was she coming to get her husband?
I think there is situations like that when you know someone's gone or going. Because there was a story my granddad told me when my nana died, and the dream he had, he saw his dad, and his dad was on a bike. He just cycled past him. So my granddad stood on the street watching him. I think my nana then crossed the road. So she was crossing over, and then he went downstairs, and obviously she'd passed away. And
yeah,
that's crazy how you sort of.
It is, yeah. That's the end of the comments on the page.
Yeah, I do have some more. I just have to. I meant to write these down to say we were so prepared.
All right.
Carl, my mum and auntie were sat watching TV talking about their dad and mum. They said they had a feeling that someone was watching them. They opened the curtains covering the patio doors, and 2 robins were on the path looking in. Wow.
See, my daughter's a big believer in the robins.
Yeah.
I think it was her grandparents' anniversary or something on her mum's side. And she posted pictures of robins being in the garden, and it's happened on Granddad's birthday, Grandma's birthday.
It's a sound from heaven.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, that.
So it
I've
is.
never had that experience myself. Have you had that?
One year when I was doing, we always do this big, what do they call it? Yeah, I do it every year for Poppy Day.
Oh, when you do your thing outside work.
Yeah. What do you call it? Not a demonstration. I can't remember anyway. I can't think of the word. It's going to drive me mad now.
If I remember when it finishes.
Yeah, I probably remember we've gone off. When I put all my, because this year we did poppy display with over 700 plastic poppies. Display, that's the word. But last year when we did it, obviously we're putting it up like the end of October, early November, so it's up for Poppy Day. We had this robin that kept coming, and it was literally right by us. And it wouldn't. It's jumped on the fence. It jumped on the bench, and we were literally like this far away from it.
Yeah, and
it didn't leave. It was there the whole time watching us.
That's cool.
And it was so cute, and we took taking pictures of it and everything.
So, wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was come to see me, whether it come to see Sam. I'm not sure.
Has anyone else had any experience with robins? Obviously, who's watching this evening? Get your comments in. I know obviously we're getting quite a few comments now. I do have a message from Denise. She did send it me. Obviously, she's on this evening, and. So obviously people know, we did mention that Denise hasn't been too well recently. She's been in hospital. But when she was coming back from theatre, the nurse thought she had gone to the wrong bed because she saw an old lady sat in it, which was her bed. Sorry.
Yeah. She was taking Denise back to her bed.
Yeah.
The nurse said she saw an old lady sat in the bed.
That was it, yeah.
But
And,
Denise's
Denise,
bed.
yeah, and Denise was saying, no, it's my bed. But the old lady, the nurse kept seeing the old lady in the bed. But then the old lady disappeared.
Hmm.
I think that was right, wasn't it, Denise? Sorry, I did read
I'm sure
it.
that's how you told me before.
Yeah, I think because
she told you about it.
Yeah, because she told me quite a bit, but obviously it was over the phone and I didn't manage to jot it down. So Denise, if you don't mind just putting in the comments, I can get that up then. Just in case I did say that wrong. I don't think I did. But no, I'm like, so message from Teresa. When my dad was dying, he kept saying the aeroplane was full. So he couldn't get...
He'd never been on the plane.
So he couldn't get on it. And the following day he died.
So it was full that day.
And yeah.
And they were,
but again, that's what we were saying earlier about this. People like these experiences going into a car or going in a certain scenario. Because I know with Peter being on the bus, his mum was a bus conductor, so it's probably a familiar place for him to, and he's probably calmed him down. You know, it's not like you just. But I found it amazing, these stories of what people have seen and experienced. Yeah. And then obviously they sent back because it's not their time. All right. So I think we've caught up
with the comments. Yeah.
Yes, we have. Sorry, everyone. There is just a little delay on this for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, so again, thank you for everyone for your comments. Keep them coming in. If you have any questions as well for us or Denise is watching, like you say, and we can we'll talk about them online, and obviously your experience, which we've been asking for, and which will be on the podcast this coming week. Yeah, because as you know, Denise is now our resident medium. She is, and she will be joining us very soon when she does feel a bit better. Yeah. So again, we do send our love to you, Denise, and hopefully feel better soon. So how was your Christmas been? Just to sort of because I came to your house. Well, yeah. How you been working? Yeah, I've worked it. Had Christmas Day with you guys, Boxing Day with my neighbours downstairs. So I got the rules a little bit, but we all live in the same building, so it's all right. And we are in a bubble. And then, we're a bubble. And then we did New Year's Eve, didn't we? Yeah, we had a good time. We had a good night. Have you had any experiences in the flat though? I've not really. You know what? I was saying this earlier. I've not really had a lot. Well, the tree was up. It's all down now, but I had a couple of baubles move in on their own, and it was the ones up top, not the ones down the bottom where the dog could get to them. They were up, so I don't think it was a kid. But I've not heard much out here where I normally hear it. Yeah. But I was just saying to Jared before we came on that the other night I came in from work, and yes, I get that the dog goes to the window and she's looking for me. Yeah. But I come on from work and the curtain. See if I can do it with this. I don't know if I can or not. I can't. It's pins that far to the wall. It was, I don't know, say this was the curtain, my hand, and it was sort of out like that. But I've just done it for you, haven't I? You pull it back like that and it just goes back. Yeah. But this curtain was like this. And the other bit, it looked like somebody had literally pulled the curtain back to look out the window. But it was like that for a good 5-10 minutes. I forgot all about it because I sat watching it for ages going, it's going to drop in a minute. It's going to drop. The dog was nowhere near. She was sat with me on the sofa. And then I went in the kitchen, come back, and it gone back to where it was. Yeah, that's crazy. And this is after I taken the tree down and everything. Yeah. So. But you were told, though, weren't you, about the lady? Yeah. Teresa mentioned it. Denise has mentioned it as well about the lady at the window. Because obviously, just before Christmas, for those who weren't on, we did a little live video, didn't we? Just the last one before Christmas. Obviously, it was a weird one. The energy was a bit bizarre, wasn't it? Yeah, it was up and down. And very strange. I was knackered when I got home. I think I just bet on my energy. Okay, I do have another message from Teresa. Can you read it? Also, my mum had 10 siblings. Wow, 10 siblings, and she was with them when they all died. And Mum said every one of them reached their arm out, like they was touching tomorrow. Our racket. So they reached their arm out as if they were touching someone. A few minutes later, they all died. We've had a resident. Because you work in a care home. Yeah, I work in a care home as well. But we've had residents pass away recently. Yeah. Not from COVID or anything, but we had one. I'm not going to name any names. Obviously, she had a stroke, and then she was constantly looking this way. So say that was the wall. Yeah. Whereas we'd be at this side of the bed. She was constantly looking that way, and you talk to her, and she'd sort of turn around a little bit. She'll look at you, and apparently, she was dying. She was looking up like that. Yeah. Towards the wall, so somebody was stood there. Yeah, I remember when my nana was ill because she was in the hospital bed in the living room, and she was always looking in the corner and she was talking, but you don't understand the words she was saying. You're like murmuring to herself. And I remember talking to her and going, "Oh, she's just talking to family," because there is that picture in the what just gets shared a lot where it shows that you on one side of the bed the family who are on the earth who are obviously sad and then the other's party celebration taking you obviously to your next life. I think it's a bit of a crazy thing, especially to watch from the outside, you know.
Yeah.
But it's nice to know that they're not alone, and
of course it is. Yeah.
You know, family is around them.
Yeah, because I know people say, "Oh God, they died on their own." Well, they're never on their own. I think 'cause there's always somebody there to take them with them.
Yeah, definitely. They were saying,
"Way up, Trees is here again." I always like Trees' comments.
I feel it's when their loved ones in spirit come to fetch them to cross over. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like you say again, it's just nice to know that you know, even though it looks like they're on their own, they're not in, obviously. But I do actually remember there's a friend of mine called Bev, and she used to do care for this gentleman, you know, like one-to-one.
Yeah.
And he was bedridden for ages, but he wouldn't cross over, but he couldn't do anything. He was like you say, just out of it. And she sent me a picture. I'll have to find it on my phone and put it on the Facebook page. And you can see someone leant over his bed because she has one, you know, on the monitors.
Oh,
so
right,
you can
yeah,
watch him, so he knows he's all right. But yeah, you can see someone bent over his bed, a woman.
Oh.
And it's as clear as day. And I think it weren't long after that he eventually passed away. But it's honestly, it's a clear day. And I remember showing it to my dad because he didn't believe. And I said, "How do you explain that?" Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, it's as clear as day. This lady stood over the Chinaman's bed. I'm like, it's unbelievable, absolutely amazing. But it's just again, it's just that proof that there is something there. And I guess when you're working in care, or you know, especially the end of life, you know, some of the experiences I know people have had, and like you say yourself, it's absolutely amazing.
Loads.
Yeah,
we're up to date, I think.
Yes, I think so. So, one thing I do want to mention, everyone, a Paranormal Living TV. Obviously, there was a slight delay, and there is another delay.
Yeah, there is again.
Hopefully, it won't be long. But we are due to start filming in February. Touch wood. Fingers crossed. We can be optimistic. You got to be positive. You got to have a positive outlook.
Yeah.
It'll probably be December knowing outlook. But yeah, so we're planning to start in February, which is the Ancient Ramin, which has been rescheduled for supposed to be in November, wasn't it?
When is it? In February?
7th, I think.
7th.
It's the first weekend in February, that Sunday. Obviously, anything can happen by then, but hopefully that will be the first episode. I'm really excited to go there because we've seen quite a few things on there, and I'm sure some people have an idea about it. But I think it's the first investigation. It's going to be the most interesting one.
Yeah.
And the one I'm most apprehensive about.
That's what I said. Jay, what's the tattoo on my neck? Oh, right. Okay. On my other side. It's because we're reversed. I'm actually sat at that side. Where am I? Yeah. It's weird. We switched to rude. It's a letter J and a letter A intertwined, and then forever in Chinese. And that I got that when I was reunited with my daughter. So it's an A and a J because she's an Amy and I'm a J.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that story.
Yeah, I got it just after we reunited when she was 16. And she's now 28 nearly.
Yeah, same age as me.
She's 16. She might be a bit older actually.
Oh,
what's that one say?
Yeah, it might be better for you. That's sad.
Yeah, I can read this one better than I can that one.
So we have a big comment off Denise.
I was coming back from theatre and the nurse thought she had the wrong bed. So this is the story now.
Yeah, this is the one I did try to explain. Which
she thought she had the wrong bed number and started wheeling the trolley to an empty bed. When I asked her why, she said that there was an old lady dressed in blue sat in the bed. I'm saying seriously, that's my bed. When she looked again, there was no one there. And she went, white as a sheet. I told her, it's okay. It's okay. It's my Auntie Alice come to look after me. Once I was back in bed, I was trying to get comfort as I had an up on the back of my head and couldn't get comfort. So I was...
Is it missed half of the comment
It's
out?
missed half your comment out, Denise, for some reason.
Sorry, I just get up on that.
I was...
Sorry, everyone. I do apologise, but it's never happened before. There's always... Let me just get it. Wow.
Whoa, that's why it's cut off. It's a big one.
So, where am I? It
was Auntie Alice.
Yeah, come talk with me. Once I was back in my bed, I was trying to get comfort. I had an up on the back of my head and couldn't get comfort. So I was messing with the remote, moving the bed Oh yeah, the bed head up and up so I could get comfy. And when the bed clicked, it started moving down on its own. And I thought the nurse would come in and press the button, but there was no one there, and the remote was hooked on the side of the bed. I just sat there watching the bed go backwards completely flat. I thought I can't be bothered messing anymore and just laid down. I managed to get my shoulders in between the pillows and my cheek on the other pillow, which was quite comfy. So I really believe my auntie was with me and sorting the bed out.
Wow.
I'm good at it. Didn't I bring the?
I don't know. I didn't show it all.
That's amazing. I do know Denise had quite a few experiences in the hotel. She did, yeah. And she did help a lot of people as well. Because she rang me, was it just before Christmas? And we had a really good laugh in there. Especially when she was telling me she was walking back from the toilet and doing a catwalk, making everyone laugh. And then the doctors, the model. Yeah, and then the doctors just stood around the bed and they didn't even laugh. They just looked at them. Oh dear. Yeah, I think I do. What was it? When my brother was in hospital not that long ago, obviously I know he'd had quite a lot of painkillers, but he said he saw shadows next to the bed. I said, it's probably just Grand and Nana just watching over you and looking after you. Because I tell you what experience we had. This wasn't in a hospital, but we did this thing at the church, and it was a form of healing. And there was a guy. I think the healing is from Germany. It's a CD. Like you can't buy it; you have to be given it. And it doesn't work for everybody, the CD. So even if you copy it, unless you're supposed to work with it, it won't work, apparently. Oh, right, and I can't remember the name of the healing. So it's like this choir of like, oh, like it's like a trance healing. Right. That's my easiest way to explain it. And so the woman who did it was in trance. Her eyes were shut. She walked around the whole room. She was already in trance, when we got there. And she walked around the whole room without tripping over anyone, because we were all laid on the floor, spaced out. Yeah. And she just walked around and just put her hand on our head and, like, led us down. And I remember, it weren't my cup of tea, but I just went with it. And especially at one point, this melody come on of a song, and in my head I was going, no. But I did see people stood over me, because it was like you were put in hospital. And if you got any ailments or anything, obviously, and you could see the shadows around you. I think there's about 8 people around me. Couldn't obviously see them, but just the shadows. And yeah, they were doing all the. And I think I had a bad back at the time, and I remember waking up going, wow. Oh, gone. Yeah, I just can't remember the name of the healer. I'm gutted about that. But the lady who does it, she's, I think she's like on the committee at the church and stuff, and she's quite high up in the SNU, and her husband's a healer as well, so that's their big thing. But yeah, that was quite an amazing experience. Have you had anything like that with shadows or anything?
I can't remember anything like that, no. I mean, like I said before, I either see people's faces, or I just know there's somebody there. Yeah, like I can feel somebody stood behind me, or somebody stood in front of me, or whatever. But I don't remember seeing any shadows or anything like that.
Yeah, it doesn't. I haven't had it a lot, but remember actually one night walking up on my landing, and I just saw the full outline of someone, and I was like, oh yeah. I think it was after I'd been to a class, so you probably
because she's still open.
And then there was a shadow walk past the side of my bed, and I had blackout curtains, so there was no way you can get a shadow through that. And someone walked past the side of my bed. And I was like, all right. And then I think I had one of them crazy dreams I have. Where I'm like in a situation or a scenario about learning something. Yeah, but I did hear a woman's voice in your
spare room. I was just about to say you had something tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, I was in the spare room and just getting some stuff, obviously, for the live feed tonight.
It was going to the toilet, I'll tell you the truth.
All right. And there was a woman just like a yawn or a sigh or something. It was very weird, and there's no one next door, and obviously we're in like the top floor of a flat.
Yeah, and like I said, because you shouted at me, because where you are, you're just the other side of this wall. Yeah. And he was in there, and he went, "What's that noise?" And I went, "What? This is me shouting at him to get in because it was 8 o'clock." And he said, "I've just heard somebody go, a woman."
Clear as day, as if she was in the room.
There is I'm on the gable end, and that's the back wall there. So
I even opened the window to look.
There's nobody
down,
there.
There's no one there.
There's nobody at that side because you're onto the back street that way, and you can't get on the back street because it's all locked up. And I'm very surprised if there's any living walking down the back street. It's pitch black.
It was loud and clear. Did you not hear it?
I never heard a thing.
That's weird.
So what's Mr. Hall saying?
William Hall.
Oh, that is it.
Evening. Welcome. Happy New Year.
Sorry you're late. It's quite all right.
Happy New Year.
It's very weird, this.
What do you mean?
It's our third live. Well, my third live in 3 days.
Yeah, because I did New Year's Eve.
I did New Year's Eve and came on with you.
Yeah.
Did New Year's Day on my own.
And then
now we're on together.
Hey, man. I did a live feed yesterday as well. It's my third.
Oh yes. Well, there you go.
So thanks for everyone tuning in.
Yes, thank you very much.
So going forward, obviously with the podcast, we're after special guest everybody, and some more guests to interview to make it obviously a lot more interesting, rather than just hearing my droney Burnley voice more than anything. But you know, if anyone obviously watching this evening, we've been sharing some posts. If you would like to come on the podcast and tell us about your experiences, and you know, we'd love to obviously for you to be a part of the Paranormal Living family and get involved with us.
I mean, obviously, it's not going to be in person. It's going to be done over Zoom.
It'll be done
over this, not Zoom. Sorry. But it is. I mean, we've done it with a few people now.
Yeah, we had
Andrea
obviously
Perrin, and she's across the pond.
Yeah,
and it works fine.
That was a cool episode.
That was a good one. Yeah.
If you haven't listened to it, go back. The Conjuring, the real story of the Conjuring and Andrea Perrin and her experiences at farmhouse. And you know what I found out recently? So the farmhouse has been bought by somebody now,
right?
And you can now pay to stay there overnight. For
I wonder when somebody start cashing in on it.
Yeah, it's been sold since, and you can now spend that. It's only like $100, I think, so it's not overly like.
It's not too much, about £80, isn't it?
But it's for us, it's a flight. But that would be something cool to be able to get.
It's a minute we can't get nowhere. You can't even go to Wales.
I know. But I think that is, you know, when we did that question of somewhere you'd like to go to do an investigation.
Yeah.
I think that would be on the hit list somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I want to go there.
No, look, we get there and nothing happened.
Yeah.
We got all that way.
Very true.
But then it'd be cool to meet Andrea and maybe have an interview with her in the actual house. Yeah. That'd be quite cool. So yeah, if you would like to be on the podcast, you know, please do send us a message or on a live video with us. And
I mean, we're not always looking for experts and stuff. It could just be you talking about anything that's happened,
or even just sending your stories. And like, obviously, we've got your comments this evening, so they will be obviously on the podcast next week. But yeah, you know, just your experiences, because there was a few podcasts I've been listening to, and they've had some quite interesting guests on, and even and like I said, after aren't even like professional mediums, right? It's just, you know, people like us and people obviously watching this evening just telling the stories. So yeah, we'd definitely love you to get involved with us on that one, because obviously with all your comments as well. He's absolutely fantastic. Sound like Gary Barlow, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Alrighty. So another thing to mention.
Yeah.
I have my list.
You have a list?
I do have a list, yes. Because we ran out of time today, didn't I?
Right now.
Vigils. Because obviously we've been doing quite a few vigils, and we've had quite obviously a lot of interest in there. Like you say, we've got the ancient ramming. That won't be a live vigil, but we are aiming, to start doing some live vigils in some other venues. Hopefully at some point.
Well, we should have had one this month, shouldn't we?
Yes, we should have.
House.
Yeah, one of the hotels in Blackpool, Martin, who's on his guest house, but obviously I don't think what's going on. But that is an amazing place.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been there a few times, and you know, when Graham comes over and stuff, and some of the stuff what happens, because I just remember one night we was in the bar, and I think Graham had just done his show, so we'd obviously all gone back, and we're all just sat around this table. There's only probably 4 or 5 of us, and all of a sudden you just heard this bang on the bar, and it was like that. And I saw a shadow, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to creep anyone out, and I was like, right, okay. And then all of a sudden you heard like a can fall off the bar. Yeah.
Right, okay.
And that's when everyone went, yeah, that. I went, right, I'm going to tell you this. So I wasn't going to say anything, but I sort of saw a shadow walk across the bar and stuff. Then his keys went missing. And then on another occasion, he was getting ready for the shift in the morning. He put his t-shirt on the bed, went to get ready. Come back in, the t-shirt disappeared. And then he'd gone downstairs, obviously done his shift or whatever, and come back upstairs, t-shirt was on the bed. And one of the ladies who works there doesn't like the kitchen. So there's something about the kitchen.
Something about the kitchen. All right, okay.
So I think we'd be in for a good night. And like I say, I've only been there just in a relaxed state. And I guess the more relaxed you are, the more open you are to it, I guess, you know. We do have another comment here from Betty. My son that died loved to speak no evil, hear no evil, and see no evil for Christmas. I got a parcel off someone.
117 MPs away? Do you mean miles? With 3 ornaments, the 3 monkeys. Hear no evil, speak no evil, and see no evil. And they didn't know that my son liked them.
Oh, that's weird. See, that's like drawn to things, isn't it? Like, there's one a friend of mine. He he was on holiday and he walked past this bar and the song his dad used to sing to him or liked was playing as he was walking past the bar. And I think it was like, it happened a couple of times, walked past the bar, the song would come on. Yeah, it happened a few times.
No, it's just them letting you know they're there, isn't it?
I like radios even, when songs will come on the radio, I've heard stories about radios changing themselves and certain songs coming on. Or your Alexa decides to wake up and starts playing a song you never heard.
It's all right. I was just looking at you, come on then.
Yeah, I remember coming home once, one afternoon, and there's no one in the house. Lindsay's at work, so Spotify and the Alexa should be turned off. And I come home, and it was blasting out with this song I've never even heard of, and it was like probably like 50-year-old song or something.
Bizarre. Can I just ask, anybody that's watching as well, because I'm not that technical, mate. You know, I'm not that technical minded, but just like use my phone. So I always leave my Alexa on every single day when I go to work. It's normally got Smooth FM on for the dog, and it's on like volume 3 or something, dead quiet.
Yeah.
And it's always on when I get home because they don't switch off, do they? Unless you tell it to.
Yeah.
Just recently, I said I didn't ever had anything over Christmas, didn't I? Just recently, I think it's about 3 or 4 times I've come home and it's off, and I know I've set it off because I've listened to it before I've gone to work. Because I was listening to 7 o'clock news before I set off, and it's off when I come home.
Might be like, Liza might be having a party.
She might be turning off.
Alexa, stop! I don't like Smooth FM. Play me some Iron Maiden.
I don't know, man. Like I say, I didn't know. I didn't think they went off on their own. Yeah, you tell them to stop.
They don't normally do.
It's very bizarre.
Yeah. Has anyone else had any experience that with music? Or
my telly stopped switching itself on though.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but I have moved my TV because it's over there now, whereas it used to be over in this corner.
Yeah, because you did share the video, didn't you?
Yeah, it just turned on.
And about the Christmas decorations as well. For those who didn't see that, there is a video on there about the Christmas decorations, because when we did the vigil, one of them, it was on the roof and it was like full on like.
See, we're fastened to my chandelier in the hallway, weren't they?
There were no breeze, no draft.
No draft.
Just someone were weird.
And then I did one the day after where nothing was happening. Wasn't it?
Very bizarre. I think a couple of days before Christmas, wasn't it? It was weird.
Betty's doesn't go off. No, I didn't think it did. So it's only recently I've come home and it's off. So
but I used to have
maybe whatever they're playing on Smooth FM in the afternoon, they don't like it. They switch.
There was something that happened to me similar to that. I remember it was quite a few years ago, and I'd had my laptop on the bed. This is before Eleanor were born, so just me and Lindsay living in the house, and the laptop was in the middle of the bed, and it had some music on because we're getting ready for a gig, and then I come up, and then I've gone downstairs, come back up, and the laptop was turned upside down on the floor. No bang.
You're telling me about that.
And it was in the centre of the bed. No bang.
Wasn't it like that?
Yeah, and it was like the triangle. Yeah, weird. And the cat's not going to push that off the bed.
No.
It was funny enough. It was this laptop.
It was.
Yeah, so long I've had it, and then touch what it's doing all right. But yeah, that was another
bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. But again, these are the signs of people letting you know that they're around.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the little things. It's not always about seeing a full body apparition, or like you say. Sometimes it's just the little things. Because my sister, when my dad died, was on about that, and she's like, "I've not heard anything." Although I did hear tapping. I'm like, "Well, that's probably a sign," because I guess in your rational mind, in certain situations, you just like, "Oh, it's something."
Well, that's what I said earlier with Linda, wasn't it? She might have been getting some things from my dad, but she's just using her rational mind and going, "Oh, it's just the wind."
I do that. When you give like messages and stuff, you're a bit like, "Where'd that come from?"
Yeah,
I just made that up. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Did I tell you about? Going back, you remember we were talking about meditation earlier? Denise, if you're still on, Jared sent me the one that you got him to do.
You made me fall asleep.
I fell asleep. I don't know if it was your lovely voice.
Or the monks at the beginning.
I don't know. Either what?
Or the monks at the beginning.
Yeah, it could have been that. Yeah, I don't know. But it was all right. I mean, I was in it. I was doing it. I could see what I was supposed to say. And then next news, that was my elbow. Next news, I woke up and it stopped. And yeah. But I'm going to try it again. Definitely.
It's a good meditation. I enjoyed it. Especially because the experiences I had when I did it. It was amazing.
But that was probably just me because I'm falling asleep at like 8 o'clock every night at the minute. Anyway, I'm surprised I'm still awake.
Do it on bus.
Do it on the bus going to work.
Wake up in Fleetwood.
Jared, I don't know. Sure, I laid them the other end.
Yeah. You picked me up at Black
I'm 3 hours late for work.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, dear.
So does anyone else have any questions or any comments for us? Like you say, it was sort of a last minute idea this one.
Yeah, I got a message this morning. You doing anything tonight? Shall we do it live?
Why not? First one of the year. You know, that is one thing as well we want to do going forward. You know, some more live videos, more Q&As, and obviously more live interviews as well. You know, like you say, if you would like to come on the podcast, at the bottom of the page, you can see our email address, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. So you can just come and contact us on one of them, and we will get back to you. That is another thing I want to mention is about the podcast. How well it's been doing over Christmas. We've had downloads on Christmas Day,
and New Year's Day, wasn't it?
India.
We're
now in India.
South Africa.
Serbia, I think.
Serbia, that was it. Yeah.
So
we really are going international.
We are venturing out, and obviously we're still doing well in the States and obviously England, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so we'd just like to thank you all for just being a part of the show and getting involved with us. Teresa, did you get any more activity after the live before Christmas?
Not really. No.
You said, didn't you, about the curtain sticking out?
I've had the curtain sticking out, yeah, but there's hardly been anything since then.
It just feels quite settled.
It's dead, yeah.
And you haven't got a headache. Which
I had one this morning. I have had one today.
All right.
But not now, which normally happens as soon as we start doing these. I get banging headache, but I haven't.
It's been quite chill tonight.
Yeah, no, it's been all right. Do you know what I found weird as well? Because I took my decorations down Boxing Day or day after, I can't remember. And ever since then, I've felt absolutely nothing. Although I've just had a cold draft broke right across my bottom of my back then. But I've had nothing.
Too soon.
And I don't know if it's because I completely changed my living room around as well, so it didn't look bare after you take your decorations down. Yeah. So I've moved my telly from one corner right over to the far corner. My sofa's now halfway across the room. So yeah, I don't know if it's that. I don't know. But that draft's getting really, really cold on my back. So I think I've just jinxed myself from coming back. I go again.
It's like, we're showing that we're still around.
Yeah, I mean, like I've said before, it doesn't bother me at all. I've never felt anything negative whatsoever. I mean, people said to me, "Oh, man, you must be mad." I'd move out. Yeah, if it started to get a bit nasty and the horrible things were happening, then I'd do something about it. But it's people that have lived here and they're still here and they like it here, so I'm not going to go do anything.
Thanks. I think the weirdest night we ever had in here was when we did the Helen Duncan podcast. That got weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. But I remember ringing Denise after it and like, "Can I speak to you?" I was thinking, "Oh, it's Jared again. What's he done?" But it was just shuffling on the stairs. Well, they were knocking on the walls, and it was like, "We're trying to do this podcast," and then I was getting sick and a bit irate. Well, I was getting a bit annoyed. That was a smelly, wasn't it?
I even wonder what that was then.
And but yeah, it was a weird night. That was probably the strongest the activity's sort of been. Maybe with Helen Duncan making an appearance, because it tended to be. Because we probably felt more sorry for her, and there was quite a lot of empathy for her. So I don't know if that was, sort of the cause for what was going on. Yeah, it was an unbelievable night to say the least. And I'm just gutted you couldn't hear that much on the podcast, because obviously you could hear it was plain as day. Because even to the point where I thought we'll keep recording. I woke up landing on. Could hear someone shuffling.
I don't know if you could hear it while you were in the loo. I did a live on my page last night.
We're all on age now.
On my drag page last night, and I was talking to people saying, "What have you been up to?" And I did mention. Oh, okay. What was I saying?
I don't know. Oh yeah,
I was on my live last night. And I was talking to people saying what I'd been up to, because if you don't know, I'm a drag queen. And they said, what have you been up to over lockdown? So I was telling them about it, and then I said, I'm involved in this as well. I'm really sorry, I've gone really, really dry.
I'm going to get some water.
It's gone really weird.
It started.
And yeah, it started.
Is it going to be a vigil tonight?
No, not again. So I mentioned this, and somebody commented, "Did anybody else hear the two groans?" Now, that's what I was listening to while you were in the bathroom. I was listening back because I'd remembered it, and I thought, I'll have a listen back to see if I can hear anything. I can't hear it, but I'm going to stick it through my headphones, I think. But apparently, halfway through my first part, because I had to go offline because it went too quiet. But this woman commented and said she could hear two groans.
Yeah. Well, that's weird.
So, but I can't hear it yet. But I'm going to put it on my headphone and see. So,
So Denise saw a black and white dog run past you, and it wasn't Liza because she was on the settee.
yeah, Liza's on the sofa.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't have seen. She wouldn't have seen Liza. She's tiny. She's 4 foot. No, she's not even 4 foot. She's about 1 foot nothing. 1 foot. Just down that glass of water. I'm so dry.
Is
Right, I'm not just saying this. But while you were talking and I'd said that I'd gone
cold.
really cold, just like that. All right, whatever it is. I felt it's still happening now. It's like my throat's getting really tight. You know, like they say when you're is it anaphylactic shock where everything swells up.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm struggling to swallow, but I know I'm all right. I'm not tonsillitis or anything like that. But it's weird.
It's always that
Very
doorway
strange
as
to
well.
hear. It's like somebody's doing that. Did he strangle her?
What?
The guy that goes down the stairs out the door and goes across the road, did he strangle that woman? Do you remember me telling you the story?
Oh yeah. I wonder what you're about then.
Because one of the stories from here is years and years and years ago, a guy left this block, not my flat, downstairs, middle floor. He walked down the stairs, crossed the road, and strangled his girlfriend.
Yeah, because he was in love with her.
Yeah, he was in love with her, and
someone.
he could see her through the window, hugging another man. And he
It was
went
a
over and
brother,
killed
wasn't
her, and then it came out that the other man was her brother. It's weird. Woo!
And your dad back last night when you were live, and you asked to watch yours back.
Yeah, she does it all the time, Betty. All the time.
Especially on the landing.
Oh no, it's window now.
Was it window?
Oh,
She's
yeah.
changed. Let's go live from landing one now. Live. from the
Window
landing.
and this wall last night. She was looking at this wall.
Sure.
And there's nothing there apart from my kitchen at the other side of there. Because that's a false wall.
Yeah, but didn't something happen not that long ago when was it with the last vigil or something? One of the doors were open because they heard a bang in the kitchen and that one.
Kitchen cupboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a few
Yeah.
times here. The kitchen cupboard shut.
Yeah, we've had some interesting. Obviously, I don't even live here, so I can't. Whatever else happens.
Yeah, very bizarre.
Yeah, we've had.
Oh, that was weird. That
It's
it's gone now. I'm fine again now.
But obviously, we do have the gentleman who did live here was.
Yeah, we've got
the
William
mayor,
Henry.
yeah, which Teresa mentioned, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you looking for these other comments?
Yeah. Because if we remember correctly, not everything comes up on there.
No, for some reason we don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
At least you get the comments on here. We get the comments on here. I don't get them on mine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to create a page. I
Make
think.
sure call. Yeah, it's probably the best thing to do. That's everything now.
So, has anybody else had any strange happenings over Christmas? And we don't mean of the alcoholic spirit variety.
Oh, there's one here from Betty, which
Oh.
we missed. My mother always said her mum came to.
I read that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't realise you read that one. It's just because it was at the bottom. It's like a newest comment.
Her mum
Sorry.
came to get her dad. Or dad come to get the mum or something.
Yeah, sorry, I do apologise.
Yeah,
That comment
that
has
one.
been read. Because it come up as a new comment.
Watch your feet. You've got a little furry thing next to you.
So everyone, I do hope you've enjoyed this little live feed. It was, like you say, it was just a bit of a last minute, but we wanted to do something obviously to start the year off,
Yeah.
and then wish you all a happy new year and everything, and for you to be a part of our show again. And obviously the podcast will be out on Thursday, the 7th of January, the day before my birthday.
It is indeed, yes.
Celebration. Woo! In my
Party
house on
for
my
two.
own. Yeah. So
Hey,
yeah.
listen, you're not the only one. I'm going to be doing the same on mine.
So if you haven't got onto the podcast, you get us on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and Spotify.
Are we on
as far as
Spotify now?
Yeah, we should be. I did upload it about 3 months ago. All the episodes should be on there, so we should be on Spotify as well. And I think we're going on Amazon soon. I just because you got to upload it and then they accept it. So that's obviously coming on soon. So you'll be able to get us on. But if you go on Podbean, if you don't have an iPhone, it's everything's on there, so you can catch up with us. And last but not least, just like to say thank you for tuning in, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for all your comments.
Sorry.
I thought you were going to say something.
No.
I can see out corner of my eye like he's gonna. So last but not least, everyone, as Denise says, like the two runners. I don't have my glasses on today. So good night from me.
Happy New Year and good night from me.
Yes,
See
happy
you
New
all
Year,
soon.
everyone. We'll see you soon. Love and light. All the best.
Bye.
Adios.